Metro Manila concluded its 2023 cosplay season with 5 straight days of conventions. That's 2 days of Ozin's retro anime and 3 straight days of cosplay Matsuri. Um, and 5 straight days of events is a lot for practically any con goer, I would surmise. But that being said, from my experience attending cons here in the Philippines, uh, they don't run a proper con on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. Uh, Other places, outside the Philippines do. It just doesn't really happen in the Philippines, or at least it rarely happens in the Philippines. Very rarely happens. Right now, off the top of my head, the only I can only think of the very recent Honkai Star Rail free mall event at SM The Block. They had one last hurrah over there on December 31st. Streamers Buunja and Risayu attended the event. They were part of the presentation. Uh, they were there in costume meet and greet the holiday shoppers. And I would surmise that setup. I mean, for me. It counts as a cosplay event, but that setup is also pretty easy to do because because it's a mall display. It's been there for several weeks. They just needed people in cosplay to add some flavor to the presentation. Um, and for the cosplayers, they probably ended their gig there like 5 6 p.m. More than enough time for them to go home to their families for to enjoy the holiday. Uh, and that being said, like I said earlier, this is a rare thing. I was not able to attend, uh, but you should check out Buunja and Risayu's streams. They have some good stuff. They have some good stuff. Um, that being said, other places in Asia do run events on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I was fortunate enough to attend EOY J Culture Festival in Singapore last year, 2022. That ran during Christmas weekend. All right, so that was my first time to attend a convention on Christmas. Uh, then we also have this year EOY ran on New Year's Eve weekend, right? And they weren't the only one. Japan's Winter Comic Con ran on December 31st and January 1. And to my knowledge, they usually run at around this time of year. Uh, China, China has a few cons which run on New Year's Eve, New Year's weekend, basically. Uh, around the time period. Uh, right now, as to my knowledge, I joined Beijing and Firefly ACG in Guangzhou. Uh, both took place on New Year's weekend. They both concluded on New Year's Day. Uh, Previous years, they would start on New Year's Day and end on January 3rd, and so it works out for them. It works out for them. And I think, yeah, this year's Rainbow Gala in Hong Kong it ran on Christmas weekend. So it works for that. So it works out for these countries, right? It works out for these territories to have a con on these big holidays. And it's not as if Singapore and Hong Kong are unchristian countries. They both have very significant Christian populations, and it's just fine for them. So it's a different stroke for different folks. You can say. Um, I would like to see a Christmas. I would like to see them do a con on Christmas or New Year's here in Manila, but it's probably not going to happen. And so far, it's worked out for everybody, at least here in Metro Manila. Anyhow, Happy New Year, everybody.